The Honorable Finance Minister of West Bengal, Dr. Amit Mitra, the Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank, Dr. Khan, Dr. Lahiri, Shri Chandrasekhar Ghosh, ladies and gentlemen. Today indeed is a very pleasant occasion to celebrate. A great institution is being born in West Bengal. For me personally, when I came to this great city yesterday, I saw a very pleasant change. With broad words Bandhan Bank written on it, the whole city had been almost painted blue. I recollect my days from the younger years when I used to see this city painted red. And when it was painted red, of course, new institutions were not being born. The existing ones were shifting out. And West Bengal, which was known not for producing many entrepreneurs, but certainly known for producing intellectuals. Even Ashok Lahiri and Amit Mitra had shifted out. I do hope this change of color has brought back both of them, one to serve the state government, the other as the chairman of the Bandhan Bank. But I think what is most important is the birth of a Bangla entrepreneur. Which is of utmost importance for the revival and growth of the fundamentals of the state of West Bengal. I recollect when I had come during the Global Investors Summit, I had categorically said that the party to which I belong and the party which rules West Bengal are strongly opposed to each other. And that probably will continue. But in terms of development of this country and the state, the political differences between the two will not matter, and we will fully cooperate in the development and the growth of state of West Bengal. In fact, the Honorable Prime Minister has repeatedly declared that for further growth of India, it's the growth of the eastern states which is important. Economists normally argue that if you draw a line through the center of the country, you will find much greater economic activity going on to the west of that line. East Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Northeast, Orissa. These are all the areas which need more growth, which need more economic activity, which need more employment. There's a lot of water here, so there's a great prospect for agriculture. West Bengal, of course, has a lot of intellectual capital. It had academic institutions of great importance. More need to be created. The old ones need to be restored back to their excellence. Orissa and West Bengal also have a lot of mineral resource. The natural wealth is there. The Northeast has both oil and gas. And therefore, for the growth of this region, you have the fundamentals which are present here. It is a break from some of the obsolete policies of the past. And the realization of the potential of this area, which is of extreme importance. And I have not the least doubt that between the cooperation of the center and the states, we'll work towards a greater enhanced growth rates, which eventually enables us to bring prosperity in the state itself. Bandhan has had an early start as a microfinance institution. The presentation just now indicated that it has served almost 7.5 million, 75 lakh small entrepreneurs, mostly women. And therefore, small entrepreneurs, even if they are funded with little amounts, they are able to generate a lot of economic activity. And this is evident from the fact that the NPA rate of those small entrepreneurs is less than 1%. More than 99% of them earn and return what they borrow from the institution itself. And as Bandhan now evolves from a microfinance institution into a regular bank, Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh tells me that their priority area is going to be the SMEs, the small and the medium enterprises. I think it's a landmark initiative in the service of the country and the state. It is these entrepreneurs in the small and medium enterprises, many of them in the unorganized sector, who really today form the backbone of the Indian economy. We in the central government decided to establish this year the Mudra Agency. It is already functioning. The Mudra Agency will slowly evolve as the Mudra Bank. It's already started working as an agency. And the principal purpose is to fund the unfunded sections of the Indian society. Small entrepreneurs, from hawkers to shopkeepers, to those doing small services, they are generating almost 11 to 12 crore jobs in this country. The large organized industry is able to generate only a small fraction of that. And this year, along with the banking sector, the object is to fund them to the extent of over 1 lakh crores across the country. And if this kind of a funding of this unfunded sector continues, it is they who generate the jobs, and it is they who take very little assistance from the state. And they honorably go ahead and return back what they borrow. the problems of the NPAs, which Dr. Khan was just now referring, certainly this segment is not responsible for them. It is the more visible segment of the industry which has a much larger contribution as far as that sector is concerned. And I think if private sector initiatives like Bandhan Bank join this effort, it is these segments in a largely populated country like India, where there is a huge amount of human resource and a large amount of entrepreneurship, which can fund at the grassroots level this segment, which has the strength and potential to grow and grow strong on its own feet. So if all over this eastern part of the country, in states like West Bengal, we are able to create small entrepreneurs in lakhs, we can then see that as a response to agrarian poverty which is building up. Banks indeed are the lifeline of the Indian economy. With a strong banking system, it's only then that the nation can prosper and the economy can grow. We've had traditional brick and mortar branches of banks, but now the banking system is growing far away from that, is growing far beyond that. The brick and mortar branches are not able to reach every village. So banks have taken over the last few years the initiative of having private individuals as banking correspondents who visit every home in order to bring people into the structured banking network. It is the expansion of this segment which will help keep people away from investing in otherwise unreliable agencies which have created problems in many states, including West Bengal. And therefore, once this segment grows, and now the new initiative to set up new banks, the new initiative to set up 11 payment banks, the financial inclusion program of the Government of India, in which banking correspondents almost visited every home of the country. You have about 25 crore families in India. Many were connected to the banking system, but there were about 42% which were not connected to the banking system. And therefore, under the Janadhan scheme, which the government launched, almost 17.5 crore new individuals, and if you treat them as families, this was more than 99% of the people who were approached, the families which were approached in this country, who responded favorably by opening bank accounts. Now, many of them had no money to put in those bank accounts. So the liberalized operation said you can open a bank account even with a zero balance. And a very large number of them, over 70% of them, had zero balances. And now we are in the next stage where the direct benefit transfer going to these banks, that is all government subsidies, scholarships, old age pensions, the LPG subsidy, and gradually we are going to extend it to all many other forms of state support and subsidies. Recently we took a decision that even under the various other rural employment guarantee schemes, monies would now directly flow into these Janadhan accounts. And therefore, gradually, very large number of them have become balanced accounts. And all of them have also a debit card available with them. So as more and more people come into the ambit of these accounts, They are entitled to even overdraft facilities. Now we added the second phase after this financial inclusion. And I'm sure the Reserve Bank's recent initiative, which gave effect to my budget announcement to have 11 payment banks, where most people just who own a mobile phone would be in a position to make all payments to various instruments through the banking system itself. This will be an extremely important step in taking India in the direction of becoming more and more cashless. More and more money will come within the ambit of the banking system itself. The next phase which we launched a few months ago was the social security schemes. Mr. Ghosh tells me that his bank also is going to be extremely active as far as implementation of these social security schemes are concerned. When things have to work in India, they can work. So within a matter of a few months, you had almost 110 million people taking the advantage of the subsidized insurance schemes. We now have the pension scheme which is working, which is trying to convert India from a pensionless society into a pensioned society. Now, slowly as these developments do take place, it's the expanse of the banking system. And in states like Bihar, Orissa, West Bengal, Northeast, more and more people need to get rid of other unreliable institutions where they invest in. And thereafter they regret those investments and to come within the ambit of the structured banking systems. It is this gap which a private institution like the Bandhan Bank, which has all the restraints and the responsibilities of a regular bank, is now going to fulfill. It will create jobs. It has already created 7.5 million micro entrepreneurs. It will now create millions of small entrepreneurs, medium entrepreneurs with modest amount of loans. And once it is able to do that, its ability to attract deposits as a responsible institutions will also increase. It is this change in the developmental politics and the developmental environment which institutions like the Bandhan Bank will now create. I think it is of the greatest significance that Bengal, which in terms of scientists, economists, academicians, authors, writers, has created a huge number of intellectuals as far as India is concerned. It's now creating the Bangla entrepreneur. And this is a great beginning. And I think this beginning is also important in terms of the return of entrepreneurship to the state of West Bengal, which was otherwise fleeing from the state. If this were to happen, I am sure the state would be on a great path of progress. As I said in the very beginning, that one of the priorities of the central government and the Honorable Prime Minister has been that the East must grow because the potential to add on to India's GDP lies in the East. This is the unexplored sector. And therefore, I had said in the budget this year that after the division of the state of Andhra Pradesh, some concessions to the state were being given because Andhra Pradesh, part of the divided state, lost Hyderabad, which was a revenue-generating region. So those benefits will be made available also to Bihar and West Bengal. And I'm sure with those concessions, it will be industry being set up in West Bengal will be incentivized. And of course, you also get the entire resources raid from the coal and the mineral auctions. The states get it, Odisha and West Bengal will benefit from that also. And with improved revenues, the fiscal planning of the state will also grow, and with the fullest support of the center and the return of entrepreneurship to the state, let me wish both the state of West Bengal and the Bandhan Bank all the very best. I have no doubt that the bank will be of great service to the state of West Bengal in particular and to this country in general. My best wishes to the bank on this inauguration. Thank you.